Hey, you wild thing. Welcome back to another episode of Into the Wild. And today is all about finding your business badass besties. So, why I wanted to talk about this is because when I reflect back on the success I've had in business, coupled with my success in relationships, my success as a parent, it all came down to the quality of the relationships that I had. And it wasn't necessarily with my partners and my husband, it wasn't necessarily with family. It actually came down to how comfortable and safe I felt with my tribe, my community, the people that I have poured into for the last few years. I have, oh my God, none other than been successful and felt healthy and complete in certain areas of my life because I had the best cheerleaders behind me in my ring, by my side, holding my hand, leading the way. And this wasn't because of luck. This wasn't because they just happened to show up. It was by design. It was because I spent so much time investing into making sure that I was surrounded by the right women, surrounded by the right frequency, the right energy, the right level in terms of where these women were at in their lives to be able to have the confidence to go out and host a 300-person event, to be able to go out and launch the Pink Skirt Society, which is a coaching program, to be able to world school my kids next year, because I know that despite me and my business partner, Anita, doing this together, I am not alone. And if you're in business and you're starting out or you're growing and it feels lonely at the top, that's a story that you're telling yourself. That's the story that you're telling yourself because you're very likely misunderstood, or you are too lazy to go out and actually create community and nurture community. Because yes, it takes a lot of work to do that. And most of us would rather sit at home, plug away on spreadsheets, create strategy, do the work of being in the business as opposed to working on the business. And let me tell you, working on the business is really about creating those relationships and nurturing those relationships and finding your business besties. There is nothing like no greater feeling than being next to a woman or in a room with women who are at the same leveled playing field in the sense of like energy and mindset. So even at the Pink Skirt Project, there are women who are having their first baby. There were women who are childless. There were 20-year-old women and 60-year-old women. It didn't matter where they were in terms of their life era. What mattered was that they were all energetically there for the same thing. And we talk about like energy and spirituality as something being super woo-woo. But let me tell you, the most successful CEOs and business owners and entrepreneurs are the ones that really believe in that spirituality. They believe in the manifestations. They believe in meditation. These are the people that are going on those week-long journeys to find themselves, doing crazy plant medicine journeys because they know that there's a deeper version of themselves that they have yet to tap into. And when you find that group of people, when you find those men or those women or the supporters, you know that you can take it to the next level. So people ask me a lot, Renee, how do you do it? Renee, you seem to have a lot of great friends. You're surrounded by a lot of great people. And the question I get, and I actually posted a bunch of stories about this today, was a question I get a lot is, it just feels lonely here. But like, let's define loneliness. Does it mean that you're working from home and there's nobody else around and you're lonely? Or does it feel like your peer group, it might be entrepreneurs and they're on this same level, but they don't have like the mindset that you have. And so sometimes conversations are difficult with them. What does loneliness feel like? You don't have someone to share your success with? Does loneliness feel like your partner's not supporting you? Your kids have no clue what you do and they hate that you're working all the time and they don't get it. People don't get it. Well, if that's the case, then you are not in the right community of people. My friends, like my circle of business besties, they're from all over the world. So I live on the west coast of Canada, and I'm actually looking out over these gorgeous mountains right now. Some of my most cherished friendships are people that live on the other side of the continent, in the other side of the country. They live in Europe. They live in the States. They live in Australia. They're all over the world. And they don't have to physically be here for me to feel their love and support and feel that the energy that you need to do the scary thing. They're just a phone call away. And yes, in person is even more significant. But if you can't get that, you can find those relationships that are good enough online or over the phone. So today I'm going to talk to you about finding those business besties, how I did it, and how I've managed to find the coolest crew of women right now. And I would just want to premise this by saying that I've been an entrepreneur since I was 17. I'm now 43 years old, and I've gone through different pockets of women. And not because of anything bad happening. It's just that we outgrew each other's energy. We outgrew each other's mindsets, and we parted ways. But in this season right now, I have such a great group of women. It almost makes me want to cry. And I have cried about it. So I will say this, that every successful woman I know has always had that little posse. She's always had this common thing of not ever having to do it alone. Even if you have a business partner, sometimes it can feel lonely. And that's what I want to talk about today, is the anti-loneliness antidote to actually feeling like you're supported in your business. So first up is the moments that I felt like sharing a story about when I really, truly felt supported in my business. And it wasn't because I hit a revenue milestone. And it definitely wasn't after winning awards or being published in top publications or being on some decent podcasts. It wasn't about my 100th or 200th or 300th episode of Into the Wild, although those were celebrated. It was when fellow female entrepreneurs, even some of whom I didn't even know, texted or messaged me something big that was significant. And they said, this was even before anything big. And they said, I see you and I got you. Meaning that if anything were to happen, I got you. And that was the push that I needed to go into the first Pink Skirt Project event, to go into this first summit with over 300 people in the room, knowing that if anything were to go wrong, anything, and someone would start to complain, I had a whole room of people that would help me through this. Actually, this reminds me of another story on social media when I finally got the confidence and I guess the nerve, the confidence to post a story of me. And I happened to be in a bikini, and I happened to be sharing the story about building up the courage to confidently post this, because I know it usually comes with a slew of attacks or terrible comments. And I wanted to share the message about the confidence isn't built based on how you look. Confidence is built based on how you feel. And we are really interwoven and connected into this narrative that you need to have a six pack and you need to have big boobs and juicy, plumpy lips and perfect skin and perfect hair and be 5'9" and 118 pounds. Where and when did we start believing this? So when I finally posted the story, it was a reel on Instagram about building this confidence. And I'm in this bra top, bikini top, and I have this oversized blazer on. You can see my stomach and everything. I'm covered. The first comment was, why do you connect confidence to your body or having six pack abs or whatever it was? And it was it was an attack. And I didn't see it for a while because I'd posted it and I went about my day and I totally forgot about it. When I came back, I opened up Instagram and there were so many comments. It's wait, whoa, what's going on? I go, oh no, my nightmare has come true, that I posted this thing and people are going to start saying crap about me. But when I opened up the comments and I started reading them, that first comment from that woman, my people, my community came in to defend me. They said things like, you don't know Renee, you don't know her, you don't have the right to say that. She is an incredible human. all these things that was not only a reflection of what they thought of me, but really truly helping this person believe that she was the epitome of why women like me were so not confident in posting things like this. And I didn't have to do a single thing because my community had my back, because my people had my back. That was a massive reminder that if you create community, you nurture community, you pour into them, and you make them feel safe and seen and heard and loved, that they will come and they will be the ones that bring down the trolls for you. So you don't have to do that work. I remember after reading these comments a couple minutes, I just put my phone down and I was like, okay, there's nothing from here to do. I can go on my day. And I loved that. And it was just such a simple thing for my friends to show up and be like, no, wait a second, you're wrong. I know her, you don't. And that is an example of the importance of having business besties so that you have the courage to go out and post stuff like that. The fear of us posting something because A, we want to be seen, but we also don't want to be seen at the same time, which is so ironic because we don't want to be seen because we fear that judgment or the negative judgment or all of a sudden building these expectations of who we were supposed to be. But when your team and your people come to your defense, you know you've done something right. So why finding business besties matters is that it's exhilarating. It's fun. Even studies show that women thrive in community and not in competition. And this is why we definitely need more leaders of our countries. We need more women that are CEOs. We need more women prime ministers and presidents because we get it. Business besties aren't just nice to have. They're a power move. They are the most important move you can have in business. There is a community called Work Wives by my friend Monica Boudreau. Same reasoning. She's like, there's a lot of people that are going into business alone and they feel lonely. So I'm going to create a community so they don't feel lonely anymore. And these are women from across Canada. So why this matters is that there are dangers in this isolation. There are dangers thinking that you have to do this alone. A silent killer of momentum is that thinking that this is all on you. It's thinking that you've got to do literally everything. You need to feel all these emotions alone, that there's nobody to talk to, which is a crock of poop. The toxic lie that we often tell ourselves, or we're told to tell ourselves, is that you should have figured this out by now. So I'm 43 years old and I've been in business since I was 17, running restaurants, jewelry companies, you name it. And if you put those like 20 plus years of being an entrepreneur, 100%, I should be standing there thinking, Renee, you should have figured this out by now. There are 28 years old making millions and billions of dollars from starting apps, and they figured it out, and I didn't, so I should have figured this out by now. What a crock of poop. Because let me tell you, I know I needed to live the life that I'm living. I needed to experience the things that I've experienced to be able to show up today to tell this story in order for this to hopefully help you or somebody else. And let me tell you, this too, and just like reflecting on these stories, reflecting back on these moments has been some of the best therapy I have ever experienced, just talking to myself. So the other dangers of isolation and the dangers of not investing into finding business besties is that connection actually combats burnout and it combats imposter syndrome. And there's always this like glorification of this self-made success story. That's a lie. That is such a lie. And if you think you're a martyr and you're going to stand on this pedestal that you created $1 billion business alone, we all know it's a lie. The most exquisite humans, the most exquisite leaders are the ones that thank their people before anybody else because they know, yes, they're the leader. Yes, they're the CEO or the founder or whatever. They understand that their people, their support system, it could be their employees, their team, their business besties are the ones that actually helped them through the good and the tough times. So what actually is a business bestie? Luckily for me is my business besties are also besties outside of business. They're more than networking buddies. They're more than collaborators. These people and these women in my life, they're mirrors, they're motivators, and they're oftentimes the women that kick me in the butt. They hold up that mirror and they say, Renee, I'm sorry, but this is how you see you. But the rest of us, we see you here. Like, you're on this level and we see you up here. So like, can you get over yourself and like just go and do the thing we know that you're capable of doing? Those are why you need those women in your life. And they don't have to be entrepreneurs. They do not have to. They could be stay-at-home wives. They could be the woman next door who's in transition, who is like the best supporter. So maybe she quit her job, or maybe she's looking for some work, or maybe she's really like testing the idea of actually starting a business. They don't have to fit the bill of being an entrepreneur. What they have to be is a person that can do everything I just described. What else makes a business bestie, and often the qualities that I look for, is they have integrity, they have aligned ambition, they're emotionally safe, they have mutual respect, reciprocal energy, and they show up on time. And the most important thing, they tell me how they feel. There's nothing like having anybody in your life that you have this growing resentment for some reason, and you not telling them. Actually, last night, like on this topic, I had a really amazing, beautiful human in my life who is the best cheerleader, who is like the go-getter, who will take her shirt off their back for you. But over the last year, there was something that was off. That was off about energetically this person. And I don't know what it was, because she never said anything wrong or did anything malicious. She was and still is like this epitome of like a perfect friend. But I couldn't put my finger on it, and I didn't know what it was. I finally figured it out. That she was in her own transition and her own like journey of like finding herself and the clarity she needed to like pursue the next thing in business, because she sold her company and she didn't know what to do. That while she felt like she was losing herself, she was still showing up with the old energy that she had of the woman that she once was. But me knowing that she's in this like weird season, it felt so inauthentic. It felt inauthentic in the content she was sharing online and the conversations we were having, like messages, text messages. I'm like, you're lying to yourself. So when you lie to yourself, people like me, we sniff this out. So I had a conversation in private with two of my other good friends who are friends with her, never talking crap about anybody. The way I premise it is, listen, I need to vent, or I need to ask a question about so-and-so because I'm getting this icky feeling and I don't know what it is and I need help. So it helped me like understand the situation. And finally I said, I just need to tell her how I feel. And so last night we met for 2.5 hours and we chatted. I finally said, hey, listen, I got to tell you about some resentment that was building up and I don't know what it's from. And she cried and she finally became like passionate and opened up and just shared with me the truth about her situation, because she was in this era where she felt this pressure to be like keeping up with the Joneses, or being the person that's like the successful entrepreneur, but yet denying the fact that she's not feeling aligned with the thing that she's doing. So instead of actually her facing herself, looking in the mirror, saying, this is the work I have to do, I was the one that had to hold up that mirror. But at the same time, right, the triggers show you something about yourself. When you hold up that mirror to somebody, there's a mirror on the other side and it reflects it back to you too. And I knew this story. I knew that holding up this mirror to her meant holding up a mirror to myself, because I had to double click on why am I triggered by this? And it was work I had to do on myself. So that was like the most open, clarifying 2.5 hours of happiness, of laughter and tears and crying. And like, that is what a business bestie does. Is she's like, screw this, screw you. I don't feel right about this situation. I want to get through this with you. Before going into this conversation last night, it's like I mean, I don't know if you believe in like entanglement and like quantum timelines and like being connected and like not believing in actual time is I was so confident about what the outcome would be of that conversation because I had already lived it, that I knew that our relationship would be better because of that conversation. So you can imagine people in your life that I know that you probably have to go and talk to now, today, text message, pick up the phone, show up because you need to have these conversations with them. Your business besties are the best people to practice this with because they're either going to be there or they're not. And if you choose wisely, they're always going to be there. They're going to understand that moment when you got super cranky and said stupid crap because you were exhausted and all this. They know it had nothing to do with them. Those are the right people that you can just be yourself. You can say, hey, listen, like, I feel like I should be at chapter 10. I'm at chapter 5, and I don't know why I can't get to the next chapter. They're going to be the ones that are going to put the spotlight on the situation and be like, here's why, Renee. And they'll tell you. So anyway, when I reflect back on that particular conversation, I know it wasn't the first time I've had this. I've had many reps of conversations that were tough. You need to have those tough conversations. Your business besties are the people that you can open up with, knowing that they're not going to turn around and talk crap about you behind your back. Matter of fact, if there's anything that's like significantly unsafe or a massive warning, they will find the right help to guide you because maybe it's not them. Your business besties are the ones that open up their Rolodex. They're like, how can I help you? Who can I make an intro to? Oh, you know what? I'll be the first one to buy 10 copies of your book. And I will have you on my podcast and we'll celebrate together. That's what a business bestie does. And these are also the people that you don't actually have to talk to on a daily basis. You could go weeks, if not months, without chatting. And then when you do, you pick up where you left off. Now you might be thinking, Renee, where the heck do I find these women? Well, here's the thing. First of all, you need to rewrite the rules of how you think you need to show up in the world. Because how you find these women, if you live in a small community or even a big city, sometimes it feels so small. It's really about disrupting your patterns, disrupting how you've already showed up for a community, and putting yourself into rooms that you wouldn't otherwise be in. So that means buying tickets to the Pink Skirt Project Summit for 2026, which is happening in July of 2026 in Kelowna, BC. It means finding who's close to you, going for coffee shop walks, going hiking, creating your own community. I don't care how small your city is. I don't care where you are in the world. There are people that exist. You do not need a tribe of 20. One or two other people is fine. And guess what? Right here, holding up a phone. Some of my business besties, Jackie Service. I'm going to call her out because she's amazing. She lives all the way across the country. Kiki Kaisers from Kavari. I'm actually wearing one of her dresses, Kavari dresses. She lives in Australia. I can call her at any time. Lisa Carpenter, who is one of the most exquisite human beings. She's been on the show. She has a way of completely understanding what the hell's going on in your life. She lives in Vancouver, so she's like a 5.5-hour drive away. These women came into my life as acquaintances. They happened to be at events I was going to, and we finally just connected. We finally stayed in touch. And here's where it all kind of just solidified for us. In my incredibly beautiful group of female entrepreneurs, my business besties, I said to my friend Anna, I said, listen, we got to put this group together. We got to come up with a way to get incredible women together, bring them to Tulum, Mexico, close to where she lives. And I said, if you find the place and get the chef, I will get the people. And I invited, there was like a small list. I was like, I know these women are just going to jive. I know. So I invited Eleanor and then Heather and then Lisa and then Callan and Jackie and Anna and myself. And I'm missing names and I don't mean to be missing names. I'm just trying to think of who was in that room right now. And I said, hey, this is a free for you mastermind. All you got to do is pay for your way there, pay for your accommodations. We're not charging anything because we're all coming together as a collective to help each other through the struggles of life, not just business. Because you cannot make your way to the moon. You cannot skyrocket into outer space if what's in your heart and your gut isn't doing well. You cannot be a successful entrepreneur if your marriage is falling apart or if you're not showing up for your family and kids. So we created this mastermind. It's now by just default called the Tulum Mastermind because that's where we're going again in February. And I said, you're invited. Come here with me. Trust me. Show up. And all you got to do is just be you. There's no agenda. It's literally no agenda. 4 or 5 days. And we did it. And it was awesome. And that was the 10 out of 10. I've done smaller masterminds before where I happened to be in like Scottsdale, Arizona for Lindsay's Powerhouse Women event. And I messaged my friends. I was like, hey, do you guys just want to like stay an extra day? Like, let's just tag on a day after the event. Let's rent an Airbnb. Let's come together and let's just mastermind for a day. Let's pick like one thing in business that we really need to circumvent or one thing in our personal life that we just really need help with, and let's mastermind. And then I did it here in the mountains of Kelowna, BC, where I invited a group of friends. There was like 5 of us, and we went to our place on the mountain and we just mastermind. And this was the birthplace for so many women's next level in business and in life. Because when you surround yourself with these women that want you to succeed as much as they want to succeed themselves, you are going to be rocketing into outer space. So in closing, I want to say this, that I love my husband so much. He is like my biggest supporter. I love my family so much. They're massive supporters. But there is nothing quite like a group of women or even just one other business bestie that understands you, sees you, understands the possibilities and the opportunities for you, can light a goddamn flame under your butt, get you off that chair when you're crying, and help you level up. And when you get to level up, you can bring other women with you. And that's exactly why I felt the confidence and the motivation to do the Pink Skirt Project, why it's launched, why it's out there, and why we're starting this community and coaching program. Because if it hadn't been for those women that were supporting me from day one, I would not have had the courage to do it. I would think my idea was stupid. So if you're looking for a way to connect with other incredible women, to find your business besties, go to thepinkskirtproject.com and check out our society. We are launching a community, a coaching program. It is the most exquisite human beings that you can just drop into, get the information, the energy, the confidence, the frequency you need to go and conquer your day and conquer your year. thepinkskirtproject.com, and follow me on Instagram, Renee_Warren. Until next time, ladies, peace out.